Coming up today, oil surging, stocks are sliding, and Trump's got the world on edge. Want to know which stocks are about to pop and how to trade this madness? Hit that like button and stick with me because I'm dropping the hottest trading plays for this week. X offer investment trading, basically making X a financial platform. A lot of traders use X for news and things related to stocks, and X has its own unique audience and fan base, so people would use it for trading and would benefit from revenue from the stock market. So keep that in mind overall for X. It's kind of a big deal, big news. So keep this in mind overall because this can bring a lot of money in. Let's break down the past 24 hours. It's been a wild one. The Iran and Israel conflict is raging into the 8th day, with Israel striking Iran's nuclear sites and Trump's given a 2-week deadline to decide on U.S. military involvement. Are we going to get involved or not? I made a video related to what would happen to the U.S. stock market and the US economy overall if the US got involved. So check that video out if you guys want. So oil prices dropped 2% to 77.2 a barrel, but are still up for 4% for the week. Fueling gains for energy stocks like ExxonMobil, so keep this one on your radar, especially if it starts spiking again. Make a decent amount of money. I do recommend waiting to get it at that 111 level if you guys want to play call options, but watching that 115 for some put options. But just looking at how oil in the news is moving though, because oil is very volatile right now. So US stock futures tanked Thursday night with Dow futures down 0.3%, S&P fell 0.2%, and the Nasdaq futures are down 0.2% as fears of US strike spooks the markets. If you're hype about stacking cash and navigating the stock market like a pro, especially with all of this global drama popping off, you gotta check out my new site, NextGenWealthTips.com. Every day, I'm dropping fire stock news, hand-picked stock plays, and the best moves to make in the stock market. Plus, I got exclusive courses to level up your investment game, whether you're a rookie or a vet. Head over to nextgenwealthtips.com, link in the description below, and join the squad that's building wealth the smart way. Don't sleep on this, bro. Let's get this bread. So the Fed's hawkish stance is still ripping. Jerome's warning of meaningful inflation from tariffs, and oil pushes treasury yields to 4.44%, hitting growth stocks like Tesla down 1% pre-market. Meanwhile, CRCL jumped another 5% after its 15% surge Wednesday on stablecoin regulation news. Keep this one on your radar to the upside today. CRCL, I do recommend you guys making a play on this one, especially going to the upside. If we continue to the upside, which is what it's looking like right now, and or even if we get a sell-off, we have a big gap to fill downwards, and big gap, big money. But we also have the Asian markets are mixed, and Euro stocks 600 dropped 0.7% as Middle East fears and tariff uncertainty weighs heavy. What is the vibe for the US stock market this week? It's a short week post Juneteenth, but it's packed with action. So we do got to watch the Iran and Israel conflict. Trump's 2-week deadline for the US military action is keeping oil volatile. If the US joins Israel, oil could hit $85 plus, boosting energy stocks but slamming consumer and tech names. A ceasefire would tank oil and defense. So stay updated. I'm making shorts throughout the day. So subscribe and have those post notifications on so you guys don't miss out on the key news. Let's get to 500 subs. We also have Fed's hawkish hangover, Jerome's warning of tariff-driven inflation at 3%, and only 2 rate cuts in 2025 has markets on edge. Higher yields, 10-year treasury at 4.4%, could pressure tech, but a dovish surprise. And Fed's minutes tomorrow might lift growth stocks. Trump's tariffs. So Trump hasn't posted his letters yet, but his letters could drop soon, targeting autos, chips, or pharma. This could hit Ford or Intel, but a US and China deal might spark a rally. And Tesla or Apple. So watch Truth Social for Trump's next move. Economic data, today's housing starts and jobless claims, delayed for Juneteenth, could sway sentiment. Strong data might fuel inflation fears, while weak numbers could boost rate cut hopes, lifting markets. The S&P 500 at 5980, but RBC warns of a 20% drop to 48 to 5200 if possible, if the oil price spikes or tariff bite. Volatile is high. The VIX is at 21.6, so stay sharp out there. So some other news. Japan trade negotiator says U.S. tariff talks are in a fog. We also have gold set for first weekly drop as Haven demand softens. We got Brent nearly down $2 after U.S. delays decision on direct Iran involvement. Xi shows no sign of rescuing Iran as Trump ramps up pressure on him getting involved. And we're going to still have the National Guard in LA for now. All that being said, man, let's get to the plays, men's top stocks to watch and some plays for this week and even next week. First one is going to be ExxonMobil because oil price is volatile. So it's a good stock to trade, day trade, swing trade, whatever you want to do is very volatile. But like I said earlier, man, if you guys want to play some call options, I would recommend waiting till it gets down to that $11 level to play some call options and wait for it to spike again to that $15 level because it does fall below that after a while. So Honestly, if you want to play some calls, look at the 11. Puts, look at around that 15 or even higher. You can make a lot of money off that. Next one is going to be RTX, Raytheon Technology. Defense stocks are volatile, especially with the U.S. involvement fears. So keep this in mind. The option flows is hot with 3% daily range. So keep this one on your radar. Next one is going to be IBIT because it moves with Bitcoin. So honestly, I do recommend looking at this one as well. And also GLD. GLD is moving a decent amount. Gold is near 3,400, but especially if gold starts selling off, you can play some put options on this. And or if gold starts buying back, people get back into safe havens, you look gold to the upside. Next one's going to be NVIDIA. We are kind of itching up higher. I do want to watch that 145.5. We can break above that. We could see some higher movements upwards, and or we might even see a sell-off. Just depends. Palantir kind of the same way. If we can break above that 140, we might be able to make it up to like 142 to like 143, and maybe even break that 145 level and go up to like 150 for Palantir. So watch these stocks. Have these stocks on your radar for today. But overall, let's get to some sports and resistance. I want to look at CRCL first, just because it's moving a lot. I do recommend waiting and see if it breaks that 220. If you can break above that 220, look at 225, 230, and that 240 level to the upside. If you do start breaking down, look at that $200 flat, and then below that, look at 178.5 and then that 160 level, and then might just flatten out at that 160 level for CRCL. But you can make some plays both sides for this one. Let's look at AMD. So AMD did make a break to the upside, but now we are looking a little bit more bearish. So honestly, watch that 126 level. If it could break below that, look at 125. Below that 125, look at 123, and that 120 level might flatten out around there. Maybe even make some new lows, 119, 118, and 116. To the upside, if we do start breaking to the upside some more, do watch that 127.18, 128, and then that 130 level. If we can break above that finally, because we kind of made a break, but we sold off quickly after. Look at that 131, 132, and that 133 level. 135 and 140 next if we do start breaking up, making some big moves upwards. Next one's going to be Boeing. We are looking pretty bearish now, so do watch that 197.5 level. If we can break below this, look at 195 and then that 190 level. If we start breaking up, look at that 200 level flat. This is a key level. Everybody's watching this level. So past that, look at 202, 205, 207, and that 209 to that 210 level. Past that, look at 215, 220. So honestly, have your patience with Boeing, but right now it is looking pretty bearish. Next is going to be the SPY. SPY is also looking kind of bearish, but we're kind of bouncing between that range of that 596 to that 603 to 604 level. So if we do break up, look at 603.5. Past that, look at 605, 607, and that 610 level for the SPY. If we break below that 596 level, look at 595, 593, and that 590 level for the overall SPY. Hopefully we can break above that 600 level again. Normally we go back to that 600, bounce up a little bit, 603, 603.5, and then start bouncing down again. So we kind of had just been in this range. So I really want to see if we can make a breakout today or maybe even next week. Next one is going to be Apple. If you zoom out a little bit, it is pretty bearish. So to the downside, look at that 194.5. Below that, look at 193.5 and that 190 level. But if we can start making a break upwards, look at that 197, 198.5, and that 200 flat. Past that, look at 205 and 210 for Apple. Apple is looking pretty bad right now. A lot of people are selling off and saying that Apple is not that good long-term stock that it used to be. So a lot of bigger people are selling out and stuff like that. So honestly, have your patience with Apple, but there might be a good level at around that 190 to that 180 level that you can buy in for your long-term investments. For NVIDIA, man, look at that 145.5, 147, and that 150 level. If you finally break above that 150, it might even get some hype and just keep on going up. And look at that 155 to that 160 level. To the downside, look at 143.5, 142.5, and that 140 level to the downside for NVIDIA. But NVIDIA is moving pretty strong and holding up pretty well, honestly. I think NVIDIA is holding up probably one of the best right now. So keep NVIDIA on your radar for some decent trades, especially if it starts going to the upside. Next, we're going to talk about Bitcoin. Bitcoin had a big sell because of this wartime news. But honestly, look at that 105.250 to that 105.5. We could break above that. We might be able to rally back up. But honestly, man, it hasn't really been holding the higher levels for a while. So you might be able to play a put option at around these levels. I do recommend trading stocks like MSTR and Coinbase. So keep these ones on your radar. And then one that I said earlier with the top 5 stock picks is IBIT. IBIT is pretty decent. I know somebody personally that played a put option all the way up here and they made a shit ton of money the next day and they sold instantly. but they made a lot of money off that. And you can make a lot of money off puts or calls. So if you do start breaking to the upside, you can play call options. And then maybe at around this range, or maybe even the 62.7 level, you could play another put option and potentially win. But just watch Bitcoin overall and trade it based on Bitcoin. Don't just trade it based on these levels overall. But with that being said, man, that's your trading blueprint for the day. Energy, defense, and gold are hot right now, but keep those stops tight because market is wild and very volatile. Drop your top stock picks in the comments. Smash that subscribe button. Let's get to 500 subs. Let's stack those profits, and check out the website below where I'll give you guys daily stock picks. And honestly, it's beneficial and it's all free, except for the courses, of course. But you guys can get the courses if you want. You don't have to, but just want to make the website into something bigger later on. Thank you for watching the video. Smash the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.